Okay. Hello. Hopefully my AC has not or will not take over my microphone, but I'm sitting very far away from where my camera's pointed. So, uh, I successfully raided the craft store and got all of the thread that I could possibly need. So, all I have to do is uh, secure the new tail of this thread, and then I can continue working on building the bar. Because that's what I was working on. Hopefully not tying things into knots. That would be lovely. So we're gonna back this up a little bit. Hopefully I successfully added the RPG bot to my chat so things will pop up and I'll be able to continue playing with that. Let me check that. Uh, if I can type. Okay, great, fantastic. So then let me also ooh, fantastic. So now hopefully if I see the battle command, I can get that to cooperate. In the meantime, I'm going to sit here and continue back and forth, back and forth. Um, so I did finish another bar stool while I was at work today. I was oh so productive. So I now have 2 chairs, 2 bar stools, 3 characters done. But the biggest thing is continuing to build this bar because this is going to be once I get this monstrosity set up, I'll know how big I need to make the floor, which I did get the thread for the floor, which is good because at least now I've picked out a color. If I could not shred this thread, that'd be great. What even is going on here? No idea what is happening. We're gonna just shove that extra loop down into the hole. And pretend that it doesn't exist. We got a battle. Woohoo. Yay. So the bot is now connected. Now I can at least pretend there's somebody in here with me. Oh, hey, yeah, that's me. We'll pretend that I'm not. Are we gonna? Oh, great. Okay, fantastic. I have that up. This is loading. That needs to be muted. Oh, yay. Did we not automatically? Oh. Yes. Okay. Woohoo! Oh, I know why that didn't go, because I wasn't live when I got that, when I hit that goal. Anyways, I'm gonna go back to just vibing, working on the bar. Because I will need to. I want to finish all the walls before I start working on the bar top. Because this way I can, make the piece, each piece, and attach it how it's supposed to be. Then once I at least have the overall layout, I can start planning how I want, like how big I want the floor. We're already tying knots. Yay. untangle this. Next. And also, once I get the bar like completed, I can actually figure out how many total bar stools I'm gonna need, how many, like how much space I want to have in the whole of the tavern. So stop being twisted like that. That is the problem with using such a long strand of yarn, but I didn't feel like cutting the skein down, so I didn't. Uh, but short of having of like actually setting out and graphing out all of these like the actual layout, so it's a proper architectural drawing. I it makes it a little easier to be like, ah, yes, okay, I need this furniture item here, because at this end of the bar, which will face the door, there's not really going to be much extra space. So what I might see what it looks like having like a sheet and a half, I guess. What I also might do is just have it so nothing's actually permanently um, assembled together. So, like, the bar obviously will be one unit, but it's not going to be permanently mounted to the floor. So, I could use the floor as a different backdrop if need be. And same thing with the walls. This way, oh, I can store them flat. And it's less of a headache. At least that's what I'm going to keep telling myself. So, as I work on untwisting this to hopefully keep it a little nicer, start working up the next side. Then I gotta figure out how exactly I want to like what pattern I want the floor to be. I'm just going to take it step by step, build, work on building each section of the props individually. Um, Slowly build the world. Just to make sure I don't overwhelm myself. Um, oh, nice. Got some copper ore. I'll worry about crafting when I'm hanging out on someone else's stream that also has the bot enabled. My streams, I'll just worry about hitting the battles. Once I build, uh, like the first scene, the first couple of scenes take place in the uh, the tavern at the bar, so I don't even necessarily need. I'm gonna need outside the tavern too, so I'll have to figure out probably like crochet the trees or something. Um, and I have to make like NPCs to fill in the tavern. I need to make uh, the other patrons of the tavern. I need to make the bandits. I need to make um, just generic like background characters. Just to have like the bodies. But once I finish the bar, um, and at least like one section of the floor and maybe a couple walls. I'll need to figure out how I want to set it up so that I can like quick attach and detach the different sections, so it's not like, oh, I'm completely sewing up the walls, but like whether it maybe I'll make something where it's like little groove that like the walls will just slide into place. Probably hide something like that easy enough using make it look like the like wooden joists or something like that. And then I'm thinking for the walls, do like a stone on the bottom and then like a horizontal wood paneling. But I have to think on that some more. I haven't quite figured out what I want to do, but I'm going to use this diamond stitch or the diagonal stitch. What I'm using here to create these like wooden looking things for the floor, I'm actually going to do it probably twice as wide, and then obviously have it be like, okay, I'm going to go this length, and then I'll double that length to actually make it look like like hardwood floors. And I got this like very light gray brown. It's called driftwood, one of the variants of the driftwood colors. So that'll be my floor. And then from there, obviously I have the sort of like natural brown wood. Actually, let me properly adjust this camera, not just unscrewing things slightly. So you can see I got, Vero sitting over here at the table. These don't need to be up here. Kazul's hiding in the corner. Tiri is being sassy. Nope, knocking things over again. Oh, Kazul lost her dagger. It's okay. Scrap pieces, Vero's book. There's another chair here, technically. Got some bar stools. This is that is choking on air. Woohoo! Anyways, back to what I'm working on. Yeah. Slight angle. I gotta say, putting the camera on the mic boom was definitely one of my better ideas. Why does that look weird? It's just gonna be one of those ones that looks weird. Okay. Yeah, so once I finish this large panel, there'll be another large panel. And then for the bar top, so for all of these pieces that'll be like setting out like this to sort of create the structure of the bar, I'm just gonna go do the diagonal stitch across like the whole thing. So these, at least when I'm making them, shouldn't take incredibly long. It'll just be because I have to overlap them because I didn't bother to trim them down to be like, oh, I need to make them with a nice fancy join. I'm just going to overlap and work through both. Because for that part, it is kind of a support structure. So at least to me, it makes a little bit more sense not uh, having to add like an extra hole. So like what I'm doing for the top of the bar, that's what I have these for. So wherever I'm overlapping them, I'll be working through the two sets of stitches of plastic canvas, just to because the sheets that I have are not nearly big enough to do the whole thing in one piece. So at least this way it's easy enough. I just have that command uh, on my clipboard, so I can just be like, yes, Control V, Control V. I'll have to type that out. At least Control V I can do one-handed. Was that the wrong way? Yeah, that was the wrong way. So now I have to undo this stitch without breaking things, hopefully. So we need to go over here. So I have to start the angles going in the other direction to continue this nice pattern of straight lines. Just adjusting my spotlight. I still need to figure out like what I want Orion to look like. Obviously, I have his like I need to design the whole tabard for a city. World building takes so much effort. There's so many little details that I mean, like if I was playing it like it was D&D or something, I know either the people that I've played with would be paying attention to the little teeny tiny like minute details like that, or I would pay enough attention to them to question it because I like being able to completely visualize a world, and it's just a matter of translating the world I've visualized up in my head over to um, you know, out of my head so other people can see it. Because nobody wants to be in my head. Untwist the thread. It's slowly starting to get to manageable levels. Either somebody's home or the next door neighbor's dog is just being really loud. I can't tell. My light is blocking my view through the window. What happens if I... Fantastic. I'll just get buckets of sand. Okay. Let's plant. Hello. Hello, hello. I'm messing around with the new RPG bot that I added to the channel. So it gives some people something to do in chat. I know I'm not particularly chatty. I'll ramble and I'll answer questions, but other than that, I will mostly just focus on what I'm working on in particular. good. It doesn't look like my microphone's picking up my AC. Fantastic. My AC's kind of loud, and I overheat very quickly. So I have that set to a nice 69 degrees, and because out of nowhere it's suddenly over 70 degrees today, and I'm like, no, thank you. I don't function well in the heat on a good day, but not when I'm already sunburned. Besides, when it's chilly, you can always add more layers, but when it's hot, you can only strip down so far before it's not socially acceptable anymore. So yeah, this what I'm currently working on, this tavern bar, this bar top bar, the whole fixture is going to be pretty massive because this is only half of it what I have in my hands currently, and then I'll need to build the rest of like the tavern around it, and I want to at least have it so I have the whole main tavern area as one set piece. So once I finish this one particular stitch, so this is part of the bar. This will be from here, and then this goes back even further, and this will be in that like massive here. It's a little hard to see because it's all the white, but so this will be like the whole main bar where you'll have, you know, the seats all lined up along it. Over here will be the actual entrance, so you know that the bar back. So this will all be, the wall will be right here, so that'll be simple enough. There'll be another wall so that like this distance and this distance is the same, but then over here there'll be like a door to go back to the kitchens, so that's really just going to be an archway with those like Western style saloon doors. I always like those sort of doors, and it just kind of makes sense to have them as I yank things and stab myself with a needle trying to untangle my pants. But yeah, no, having this all, so this whole thing, and then I have the bar top that'll be mostly on this side with a little bit of an overhang, so this can get tucked in about halfway. So it's a massive project. And then the floor, which here, let me pull out a completely unused sheet of plastic canvas. If I can do this without knocking over a whole pile. So I will most likely need to make the floor be like 2 whole panels to get the whole, yeah, that might actually be a nice simple way of doing it, to have the floor be like 4 of these panels. Because then in theory I could either just add it, make it overlap nice and simple, or make it so it quote unquote snaps together. We'll see what happens. Maybe I'll just have it trimmed so like, you know, there'll be a part of the wood floor that looks like it interlocks, but it just kind of fits together, where you like just lay it next to each other, as opposed to actually worrying about making it physically snap together. Or I just make it so I just lay the tiles side by side and edit out any imperfections in post. That'll probably be the easier thing, because then I can have like just the flat sheets of different floors. And then if I'm making, oh, I need to make a room, just a smaller room in the tavern. Yeah, you know what? I actually like that idea. I know I'm basically having this discussion with myself, but that I think will work better than whatever else I was originally going to try and do. Have these massive floor tiles, but this way I can tile it almost like you have in a video game, like the old 8-bit, 16-bit video games, where you have everything being tiled. If I just be like, ah, yes, okay, and this one is, a tiny little studio apartment thing. Because then I just make the floor, be like, oh yes, okay, so this floor needs to be massive. I need to make 4 of them. And then if I was really being ambitious, I could, like, obviously have it so one side is the pretty side, one side is the wrong side. And then I could put sew 2 of the panels together. So I don't have 1,500 panels sitting around. I have half of that because they're reversible. But let's not get ahead of myself. Otherwise, I'll drive myself even crazier than I already am. Let's untwist the yarn, which I'm basically what I'm doing is I'm just holding it using my nail to just kind of guide it so I can let the yarn hang and spin to untwist it so it doesn't look sort of awkwardly taut. It just allows for slightly better coverage. And again, this could have been avoided if I just used shorter pieces rather than taking the whole rest of the skein. Okay. Contort and reach different places just so I can check, make sure I'm not missing anything important with all of the different things I have going on. But like I was saying earlier, I did successfully raid the craft store, and hopefully that'll be enough to finish this bar. This is the bar and the bar top, and then this was the floor. So I may end up needing to get more of the floor color, but I don't know, and I'll figure that out in the future. Let me just pull all of the ones for the color I'm currently working with. Everything else can be put to the side for now. Oh no, a horde of wolves. Fight. Only one wolf? What the heck? Wolves don't seem particularly susceptible to archery, so I guess that makes sense. I'll need to do some further research on how to make like a couple axes or a sword or something. Let me back this up because again, I have stuff stored directly under my desk, so I can't like tuck in and be like my knee currently is hitting the rack I have because I lack a bit of storage space in my room, and therefore I need to make do with the little space I have available in my closet that you can kind of see in the background of my face cam. That I'm upstairs and the stairs are right underneath that, so that's not even like a nice flat floor. So again, make do with what I got. And live in a fantasy world for everything else. I'd like to be able to finish this at least like get to the point where I'm adding the next turn. If I could finish both of them, that'd be great, but I don't. My energy is 100% gonna flag before I get a chance to do that. Again, that's the problem with streaming at night after working my real job all day, is I wake up super early. I also didn't get to sleep till I don't know, after midnight, and I wake up at 5:30, so that's why caffeine. Not sponsored, but could be sponsored. That would be crazy. But I'm just trying to just sit here, do my crafts. Hopefully, once I have at least more of this the set built, and I can start posing and taking the pictures for some of the actual stop motion animation, hopefully that'll start grabbing some people's attention. Hope, and I probably will have to pick a different day to. For a lot of people stream at on Tuesdays, but it's just hard because I'm like Mondays I can't stream because I have rehearsal right after work, and I'm certainly not gonna stream after that because at that point I usually don't get home till like 9:30, 10. Well, rehearsal technically goes till 9:30, and that's a long day. Um, so it might just end up being where I will just have to stream, like, oh yeah, let me stream for an hour of just like do multiple or do more short streams, because like right now I average 2 hours a stream, and again, I'm doing it after work, so I have my energy supply is limited, and I'm not at a point where I can um, be like, ah, yes, I'm gonna look for a different job because I can make money off of this. I'm still trying to hope I get the. I need. I'd like to reach affiliate, at some point, but I need to figure out how to attract the average 3 viewers a stream and get to 50 followers at a minimum. But I never expected to be viral, and those who have found me at this point, hopefully once I get the stop motion videos posted or get to a point where I can start actually making them, uh, get those posted up on over on YouTube, that'll draw people back here to come hang out with the behind the scenes and have like, oh yeah, you can help design an NPC character that'll be lurking in the background. Maybe if I set up like some sort of Patreon or something, that could be one of the rewards. You're like, oh yeah, gold tier, you get to be you get to fully design a character that'll be a recurring NPC. But again, that's problem for future Kazul, and right now we're still building from the ground up, literally. Yeah, you see how like these are starting to get a little where you can see. I can see it because I'm staring at it super close, but how some of these are a little twisted, tighter, twisted. So you see the plastic canvas behind it, and like these are creates a smoother effect. Now, granted, from back here you can't tell, but that's why I have to sit here and do this untwisting. Basically, just run the thread through my fingers to untwist it. Um, it helps create a smoother finish, better coverage. I'm not sure what the proper term would be, but it looks better. We'll go with that. That's very. here. We continue. Oh. Ooh. I got some dragon bones. Fascinating. When I'm not actively streaming, I will look more into what all I can figure out about this bot. Found out about it last night. I'm already try harding a bot. But it's an RPG and that's what I do. Ideally, untwisting the yarn works better if you can hang it like straight down and let it sort of untwist itself. But obviously, when I cut the string too long or don't cut it at all, I'd have to stand up on top of the ladder to do that. And that ain't happening. Let me check on Mom's bowling scores. Whoops, that was almost an hour ago. It's okay. I'm busy. Oy. The other problem with having longer string is that you're likely to hook whatever project you're working on.
hold it the other way. I shouldn't. But that's intelligent. And I don't have brains at the moment. The sudden onset heat fried whatever brain cells I had left at the moment. I mean, I guess it's less of, my brain is fried and more of I had to think for everybody else at work today, as usual. And once I clock out, the brain shuts off or goes into power saving mode. And it doesn't wake up till like a monster plus a cup of coffee the next day. Well, that's fine. It makes life interesting. Ugh. My face sunburn is like starting to get to that point where it wants to peel, and it's just really itchy and dry, and I need to slather a bunch of aloe on again. I just didn't want to do it before I streamed. I was already behind the 8 ball because I was trying to make sure I had this bot set up properly. No, going back to my ramble about scheduling streams is so like Friday nights is good for me, except for the fact of, well, yeah, I only work half a day because I've finessed my schedule to be like that. I'm still up at 5:30 in the morning. Don't know how to take naps, and I'll have to be up like somewhat early for the racetrack on Saturdays. I know there'll at least be one Friday in June that I won't be able to stream until like late because I have a concert that night. And then there'll be a couple of like Sundays where I won't be able to stream because I have to go work the track. I work in the camera booth for the racetrack. I should say the production booth. I don't touch a camera, but I do replay. So there are a couple of Sunday shows where like I won't even be doing grocery shopping that day because I'll be coming home from the racetrack stupid o'clock on the Saturday night and then roll into bed to wake up and do it again on Sunday. Although Sundays usually aren't like an insanely late day. Usually I'll be home by like 6, but at that point I'm usually fried from the, hour and a half round trip driving. But it's a paid gig, so can't complain too much. Let me read an ocean. I need a look of how to cook. I have a bunch of trout. Time to weave in this end before I snip it off. And try not to stab myself. That is always the goal. In theory, in crafting, the less bloodshed, the better. I really need to sharpen these scissors. Or just stop using the same pair of scissors to cut quite literally everything. Okay, we're gonna do this slightly smarter and just do an arm's length. It'll be doubled, so the initial thread is an arm span as opposed to an arm length. I suppose if we want to get technical with imprecise measurements. And since this is on the back end of the piece, it doesn't really matter if it looks pretty per se. Nobody should be seeing this side of the bar. If they are, I didn't set the scene correctly. And that undid half of that. Okay. We're gonna cheat. And use a very tiny crochet hook to weave in these ends. Or not. I guess not doing that works too. Normally with the plastic canvas, you're supposed to just insert it in straight into the next stitch that you're gonna start. You hold the tail and you catch it in the new stitches. Can't really be bothered doing that. Okay. And now, after all of that fuss, we are back to our regularly scheduled stitching. throwing needles around now. Luckily, when they're still attached, you don't lose them too much. It's when they're not attached, you have to worry about them going flying and then accidentally stepping on them. Especially on carpet. It's that same, like, prick, like if you're getting clothes, like, tailored or hemmed or something, uh, and they leave one of the pins in there. You're like, this is mildly uncomfortable, and you shift just right, and you're like, ow. What was that for? Should probably eat something at some point, in theory. But I'll do that when I'm done. There might still be some pizza rolls outside. I have to check. Yikes.
need to get a new phone. The battery is starting to become a problem on mine, but it still technically works, so not really. I'm not too worried about it. It gets a little frustrated basically having to be tethered to a charger all the time. Uh, but dad's phone is the bigger problem. His phone, I think, is technically the oldest that we have right now. There are certain apps like the timing and scoring apps that we use at the track that his phone is just like, ah, well, nope. So it is what it is. Let's try that harvest again. If I could type harvest. Cool. What is it? Upgrade house. Okay. I will be here for a while. Although I do want to try. I guess it's raiding the volcano because I think you can get like a bunch of stone from there. But I think the desert is where I want to go. For sand. We're definitely making progress. How did you manage to tie yourself in the knot by me dropping you? Huh.
So I made somewhat decent progress. I only have three of these panels completed. Three planks, I guess I'll call them. I think what I'll do between tonight and my next stream, I will, at the very least, try and finish up this section of the bar so I can work on the other panels and focus a bit on actually showing off the assembly, because that seems like a bit more. Seems like it'd be a bit more interesting for people to watch, instead of just, oh, here, this is how I make all of these panels. Once you've seen this once, it's pretty tedious when it's this giant, massive thing. I should probably go at least grab a snack soon. I say that, but I won't. Oh, I don't have a silver throwing knife. Can I even make a silver throwing knife? Yeah, I don't have the right weapon. Uh, well, guess that's not happening. So, not killing werewolf. Probably need to raid a mine. Hello? Um, think I have enough left that I can finish this, like, strip. I don't know what I'm calling these things yet. I don't know why that ended up being more awkward. I have no idea. But now we're done with this. Where I'm actually gonna tangle this over here. And I'll do this next one what a proper join in theory is supposed to be. Okay, so we're gonna just pick it out where it's supposed to come out. We're gonna hold enough that we can maneuver it around things. And we're just gonna continue stitching as if it was still connected. And now that we're at the side where the tail is, I'm gonna make sure it goes through the loop I'm creating. So now it's held into place. And I already have to untwist because the needle didn't stay in the halfway point. So then the loops, the two sides don't get pulled evenly. We're gonna make sure this goes in and out. Make sure that tail gets caught. This should be the last loop I need to catch the tail in. And untwist. Twist again. Stop tying yourself in knots. And all day, that 100% will absolutely argue with inanimate objects. Now, I'll lose because in the ongoing feud between me and inanimate objects, they're winning. But I will continue to battle on. Okay, I think we have time to do. Alright, it's time to raid again. So it's, I think, this time. Raid. Volcano. Ah, fair enough. So that's not gonna happen. Can't raid volcano. We'll go back to the desert. Excuse me. early start to the workday's catching up with me. Huh. Well, it didn't work. Tried to just say max instead of having to calculate how much glass I could make. We're pushing. We're pushing to try and finish up this panel, because then I can at least say I'm halfway done with the bar. And then I can go eat more pizza bagels. Or pizza rolls. I haven't decided which. That is not the correct order. That is wrong. Go there. What going on here? Whatever. Close enough. I'm gonna need to get more arrows at some point. Make more arrows. Equip different arrows probably is what'll end up happening. But I gotta see what I have in my inventory. No. It's another reason why I can't do this for too long. I get tired and I start stabbing myself because I don't move my fingers out of the way fast enough. Ooh. Got a bunch of feathers. Got an egg. I don't know what type of egg, but I got an egg. Probably not like a pet egg. It's probably the food egg. Oh, speaking of food eggs, we have hard-boiled eggs left over from Easter. Maybe I'll have a couple of those. What are you getting tangled up on? Hello? Can you not? Thank you kindly. Okay. I've got this next plank strip section. Pattern repeat established. I am starting to go cross-eyed, trying to look through the pattern as I'm moving it, the plastic canvas, and so to avoid, any accidental finger pricks, I think. I know I'm talking like I'm wrapping it up as I keep going. So here we have the front part of the bar. I think slightly twisted because of the way that the frame works, but that is why once I have the top added, hopefully that'll straighten that up. If not, I'll have to add another part on the bottom, but that wouldn't be too hard. So let us switch over here so y'all can see my face, my very sunburnt face. Ignore my chin. I need to go stuff my face in aloe. As I move this camera out of the way. So I made some progress on that bar. I'm gonna do some more work off stream. So hopefully by Friday I will be in the process of actually assembling everything. So where I'll have the bar and I'll be adding the framing to the outside to build the bar top on top of the bar front. But that is the goal for the moment. Thank y'all for hanging out. And before I completely start rambling again, I will see you all hopefully on Friday. Next time I go live. And I hope you enjoy playing with the bot once more people get involved in that. In the meantime, I will see y'all next time. Bye-bye. If I hit the right buttons.